80% of falls in the home occur in the bathroom. Don't put yourself or a loved one at risk. There's a safe bathing system for everyone's budget.
Enjoy a bathing experience that combines safety, comfort, and excellence. If assisted living is not for you, a BCI walk-in tub may well be the answer, giving you the safety and freedom to live independently. A BCI walk-in tub is the most affordable and comfortable walk-in tub in the market today. With our dual drain technology, your tub will drain quickly, and for those that still like the feature of a shower, our two-way bliss gives you both a handheld and overhead shower head. We offer the best financing in the industry with payments as low as $99 per month or no interest, no payments for 18 months with approved credit. For comfort, safety, price, and selection, it's got to be BCI Walk-In Tub. Be one of the first 50 callers and save $1,500.
Call 800-354-4377, 800-354-4377 for a free no obligation in-home consultation.
Welcome to another edition of the Turnpike Sports Book Report. I'm Doug Weischadle here with Dave Weischadle. We're here to give you a whip-around look at some of the latest news stories coming out of the sports betting industry. This week, in our state and national reports, we've got our final February numbers. We've got some state and national benchmarks to talk about. Deals, we've got two landscape-changing deals, one in terms of the business landscape, the other in terms of a physical skyscape landscape.
Okay.
Industry updates, we've got a bunch of launches, and also we have a new American Gaming Association survey to talk about for the anniversary of the repeal of PASPA.
Yeah, big anniversary. Yep, 5 years.
Yep. And in the legislative roundup, we're going to finish up with some news coming out of Texas, Missouri, Vermont, and Tennessee.
Okay.
So let's get started and get to our numbers.
Attention. If you owe back taxes to the IRS, watch this urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by hiring 87,000 new agents to garnish your paycheck and put liens on homes and businesses. They can even seize your bank account. The IRS calls it enforced compliance, and now they have the manpower to get you. Penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily. So call One Stop Tax Relief Shop and get the IRS off your back. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. And no other tax shop gets you more or faster approvals. One Stop Tax Relief has resolved thousands of cases since 2014 and saved clients millions of dollars. Call now for a free consultation. Connect with tax professionals who get the IRS off your back.
Call 800-605-0688. 800-605-0688.
One Stop Tax Relief Shop.
This week, we get to go back in time to February 2023, thanks to Arizona reporting their sports betting numbers.
Is it Arizona just sending in their numbers whenever they want? So
it's I think they're about 2 months behind everybody else.
All right.
So,
well, welcome to the party, Arizona. So
exactly.
Good numbers for February nationally?
Nationally, the final February 2023 sports betting numbers, 29 states reporting. We have a handle of just over $9 billion.
Wow.
Gross gaming revenue of $713 million, adjusted gaming revenue of about $600 million, a national hold of just under 8%, which is good.
Yeah.
I know everyone keeps shooting for this 10% all of a sudden, ever since those legislative holds came in, but now they're being taken away.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
The market seems to be holding around 8-9% anyway. And taxes. We have $134 million in tax revenue collected by the collective states.
Okay.
For February.
I can't believe we're still talking about February.
Well,
it's 80 degrees outside right now, and we're talking about February numbers.
Well, when you have states going through the numbers, and they are meticulous when they go through this, because there's a lot to record, especially in Arizona. Arizona is a big sports betting market.
Of course.
All the different books, all the different retail
I'm busting their
venues.
chops, but
yes.
Not really.
Well, looking at what happens now in February here, we have a top 10 handle. Very interesting top 10.
Okay.
A couple changes at least in the top 5, I should say.
Changes in the top 5.
Yes.
Every month I try doing this, but let me try it again by handle.
Go ahead.
Number 1, New York.
Yep.
This is when it gets a little tricky. Number 2 is either Illinois or New Jersey. I'm going to go with New Jersey.
Flip the two that you just said.
It's Illinois.
Illinois is second. Yep.
And then New Jersey.
Yep. Illinois, just so you know, Illinois and New Jersey, there's only about 25 million separating.
Oh, is that all?
That's it.
I like how we throw around these millions of dollars and numbers and figures and things like that. So it's New York, Illinois, New Jersey. What's the third state? Is it
The fourth state, you mean?
the fourth state? It's usually Nevada, but I don't know.
It is Nevada this time.
Okay, it's Nevada this
Number
time.
5 changed.
Is it Ohio?
It is.
It is Ohio.
Pennsylvania got kicked out of
okay.
the top 5. Pennsylvania got knocked down to 7.
Ooh.
Arizona came in at 6.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, congratulations, Arizona, for
And this
pushing
is February,
Pennsylvania
right?
further down the ladder. Yes.
This is February,
This
right?
is February.
And the Philadelphia Eagles were in the
Yes.
Super Bowl, and Pennsylvania got knocked down to 7,
Yes.
huh? Okay.
Well, we're going to leave February. We're going to March now.
All right.
We've got Illinois. Illinois reported their March sports betting numbers. They're only a month or so behind everybody else.
But they're doing great. They for February anyway. They kicked New Jersey out of the second spot for handle.
They set a monthly handle record for March.
Wow.
Just
Okay.
over $1 billion.
Wow.
$1,072,000,000.
Wow. What a market that is.
It's just
Great.
constant
Yeah.
with them. And their previous record was January of 2022. They beat that by about almost $3 million.
Wow. Okay.
So
all right.
good job by March standards. I mean, March is kind of a slowdown if you
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah. I would think so, but I don't know. You got basketball and hockey. I guess
Yeah.
that's the big sports, really,
Well, we're going to start moving ahead in the calendar.
for March anyway. Yeah.
We're going from March now to April.
And now we're doing April. Okay.
We've got Indiana
All right.
reporting their April sports betting numbers. Indiana became the 6th state in the post-PASPA era to reach $1 billion in adjusted sports wagering gross revenue, AGR, $29.4 million. They joined New Jersey, New York, Nevada, Illinois, and Pennsylvania as the only states to do that.
Okay.
Also, they became the number 6, to surpass $12 billion in handle post-PASPA. They joined New York, Illinois, New Jersey, Ohio, Nevada, and Pennsylvania with that $12 billion mark.
Wow. Okay.
New York also reported their April numbers, their full month. Now, New York does their weekly numbers.
Okay. We've covered about what 4. This is the 4th month we're covering now.
Oh, no, we're still in April. Those were April numbers for
Those-
Indiana.
Okay. I thought they were March numbers.
No,
in Indiana.
Illinois had March.
Illinois had March.
Indiana was April.
Indiana had April.
Here's New York in
now
April.
New York in April.
And also, we're going to do Massachusetts in April. too.
Okay. All right.
But New York in April, state of New York recorded its 9th handle of at least $1.5 billion for the month. Monthly handle, $1.55 billion. In Massachusetts, they're only, they started January 31st, if you want to consider
The retail
that.
started January 31st. For some reason, I think their online started March
10th.
9th or 10th. Yeah.
March 10th.
10th. Okay.
And they have already passed the $1 billion mark
Great.
in terms of handle since launch, about $1.15 billion in handle. Going back to New York now, because we're now going to talk May.
Okay.
Because they do the weekly thing.
Yeah,
The-
okay.
The week
All right.
ending May 7th.
All right.
They set a revenue record
New York set a revenue record
for the state.
for the state in
Highest
in a
highest
week of
weekly
May.
revenue. For the
Wow.
week ending May 7th, highest weekly gaming revenue, $47.9 million.
Wow.
That's the
Okay.
highest revenue. So that's it for this week's numbers. Let's head on over to some deals. Two major deals to talk about this week. We've got Fanatics and Bally's to talk about this week.
Okay.
Fanatics, as everyone has probably heard by now, as this is released, Fanatics announced that it has bought the U.S. operations of PointsBet
Yes.
for $150 million. Now, when I first heard that number, it sounded kind of small, but when you think about what's going on with PointsBet, it kind of matches the valuation of the U.S. operations of
Yeah,
PointsBet.
and to be clear, it's only the U.S. operations of PointsBet. I mean, PointsBet is still operating in other countries and things like
They
that. So.
they will retain their business in Australia, Canada, and I believe it's India too.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
So they maintain some of their international business, and
You know, it was
they're
strange.
from Australia. So
Yeah,
this is
it was strange when I heard the news. It was like a Sunday night. It was like a late
It was
Sunday.
overnight
Yeah,
Sunday
it was
night.
overnight. It was Sunday night. It was strange. It was a weird time. It was a weird time to hear something like that. I mean, I mean, this is a big story in the gaming industry, and I'm
Yes.
surprised it was Sunday night. And didn't we see the CEO of Fanatics
Matt King.
speak at the
SBC Summit North
America in the Meadowlands?
yeah, he did a keynote, and
that was like on Thursday too.
yeah,
I mean,
he's actually the CEO of Fanatics Betting and Gaming Division.
so
What's interesting, even in his presentation at SBC, he called Fanatics a secondary mover, which is the companies taking advantage of lower pricing, a more settled market to make moves in.
Okay.
And this is actually very interesting in terms of going back to their original statement, Rubin's original statement, the CEO of Fanatics itself. He said they were going to be in 25 to 30 markets by the end of 2023.
yeah, but with PointsBet now what they
They're-
automatically get 14 states.
They got 14,
Yeah.
but they're in 15 total right now.
Yeah.
And they're going to be going into a couple more.
Okay.
At the time we're recording this, they have already launched in Massachusetts. So
Okay.
there's another market for them as well. I think this is the only way you're going to see a company like Fanatics, which is well capitalized, create their own space in the industry itself, because they got to deal with FanDuel, they got to deal with DraftKings. I think they're better capitalized than those two companies. Although both of them are talking profitability already.
yeah.
I think Fanatics already has the profitability because of that 95 million customer base that already does sports betting and also with their apparel.
Yeah, no, I love Fanatics and their apparel, and they already have that name recognition, so I think it's going to be great. What I'm always interested in seeing is, I have a PointsBet account. It's on my phone. I'm just wondering. I keep looking at my phone to see if it's going to turn over pretty soon, because I had one of those. I forgot what it was. I think it was Sugar House, and all of a sudden I looked down one time. It was a different icon on my phone, so I'm wondering if that's going to be the situation with PointsBet. I'll see a PointsBet one day and a Fanatics the
Probably
next
a
day.
year from now you will.
Yeah.
Because it's going to take a while for this merger or this acquisition to happen. But again, Fanatics gets the U.S. operations of PointsBet Sportsbook. They also take over the deal PointsBet has with NBC Universal,
Okay.
which includes NBC Sports Edge, all the golf programming that they had, those betcasts
Yeah.
that
yeah.
PointsBet does as well. Because
Well-
you see them on the sport and NBC Sports Network.
At NBC Philadelphia, the local, I don't know, is it called NBC Philadelphia or CSN Philadelphia?
It's
something like
NBC
that?
Sports Philadelphia is the formal name.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
also they have NBC Sports Washington, D.C.,
Yeah.
and also the Chicago.
Yeah, so my local Philadelphia channel,
Yeah.
PointsBet's all over there, especially during games and things
And
like
they
that.
do the betcasts.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
So Fanatics takes that over, which is a huge coup, I think.
Yeah.
That's the piece I think they wanted more than a lot of the other pieces to this deal.
I think I always that's where I see PointsBet the most when I'm watching sports on Philadelphia. So
Well, they actually inherit a single-digit market share just about everywhere in those 14 states. I think they have Illinois PointsBet. The only place they had a consistent 5% of the market was Illinois.
oh wow, okay,
And that's a huge market to get.
absolutely. Yeah.
So I think this is where they wanted to be. They're actually moving forward with all their plans. I think this is the smart way to do it. And I think this also brings up the second round of consolidation, market rationalization, whatever you want to call it.
yeah,
And this is going to be interesting to see where Fanatics goes from here.
sure, absolutely.
Now, the other deal is actually kind of a winding road to get to this. Bally's and Gaming and Leisure Properties have announced that they entered into an agreement with the Oakland A's of Major League Baseball to create the site of the new ballpark in Vegas.
I already heard that the Tropicana, which is on that site, I guess, is telling its employees 18 to 24 months or something like that. Yeah.
They've got a little bit of time.
Yep.
What they're talking about doing, the ballpark is being constructed in such a way. The release that Bally sent out said they're anticipating annually 2.5 million fans. The ballpark can seat up to 30,000 fans per game.
I'm curious to see what kind of stadium this is going to be. Is this going to be an enclosed stadium, an open stadium? Because, it's the desert. It's really hot in July and August. And, an open-air stadium might be a little rough for fans, and players.
You have to look at where they're putting it, too. Downtown is actually kind of, when you talk about heat, there's a lot more heat there.
Yeah, probably.
In that area.
Yeah. So,
but it's 9 acres of the overall property that they're giving to they're selling to the A's. I should say giving, selling. They're selling to the A's. Still, public money is going to be needed to create this stadium. Not as much as the previous deal that they had with Red Rock Resorts. I even remember.
I'm sure there are going to be studies done too about traffic and traffic patterns and what infrastructure that has to be done and things like that.
I wonder if they're going to be asking for an exit on that underground tube.
Oh yeah, there's a tube coming.
Yeah, so I wonder if that's going to be part of the deal here too. But again, Bally's is retaining the rest of the property. I think it's like overall 35 acres that this is going to be part of, but 9 acres are given to the development of the baseball park. And I think Bally's has even mentioned that they're looking at doing another casino in that area.
Okay.
So that's down the road.
Yeah.
And again, we'll see exactly where this goes. Everything's still got to be approved. There's got to be some zoning variances. There's got to be a lot of other...
Oh, yeah. No,
there's so much other stuff that has to go. But again, this was a long and winding road. They first went with Red Rock.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought was going to happen. It looked like a done deal, and then all of a sudden now this happens, and so,
Well, that was the one thing I noticed with the Red Rock deal. The word binding never appeared in any of the reports.
Yeah.
And they also had the other deal that was on the table from the owners of the Rio. They were going to get the land for $1.
Yeah.
There was so much traffic issues with that property that even though the land, the price for the land was amazing, you still really couldn't make it work with the traffic issues.
Yeah,
There'd be so much more to do with that. But congratulations, Las Vegas. You may be getting another pro team.
And I feel bad for the Oakland A fans. They're just watching a slow death of a team in that region.
I'm just curious to see what
they lost the Raiders, and now they're losing the A's. And
I'm just very curious to see what Major League Baseball does, because I remember when the Cleveland Browns moved from Cleveland to Baltimore, the NFL wouldn't let them move the Browns. They had to come up with a new name, the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah,
and then the NFL relaunched the Browns again.
Well, look,
I wonder if that's going to happen here.
Las Vegas. Well, we got to remember the A's were originally a Philadelphia team, so the A's just moved out to Oakland.
Well, you got to remember back then, not a lot of people were worried about intellectual property. At that time. So
I guess
changed.
It's the Las Vegas A's. I guess that's what it's going to be. Or
right now, it's still Oakland A's.
Until
I know something
that.
changes.
Until they move,
Exactly.
I guess they'll keep the name. I don't know.
Well, that's it for the deals this week. We'll be right back with our industry updates.
Game starts at 20, bet slip is empty. I gotta call KG.
KG, what up?
I got nothing for you, Fox.
Oh, come on. Jalen. You want to tell?
Yeah.
Don't call somebody on live TV.
Well, you answered. Have other friends anyway.
Marshawn, Barry.
Listen, I need some tips.
I like LA.
LA?
No, Dallas. That's
Dallas?
Dallas.
Dallas?
How about Detroit? Barry,
I'll call y'all right now. Vanessa.
I got a tip for you. Always go with your gut.
I like that. Let's go with our gut.
This week's industry updates, we're going to start off with a survey that was just released by the American Gaming Association regarding the 5-year anniversary of the repeal of the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act, otherwise known as PASPA.
Yep.
Back on 2018 and May 14th, I believe the exact date was.
Yep. Well, I found out. I looked at my phone. I was in a supermarket, and I was like, oh, my God, the Supreme Court just repealed PASPA.
Yes. Well, the American Gaming Association, like they always do with important moments in history for the betting industry, the gaming industry, the commercial gaming industry, they went out and did a survey or commissioned a survey regarding how attitudes have changed regarding sports betting in this country. According to the new survey, 85% of American adults agree with the Supreme Court's decision to strike down the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act, compared to 63% back in 2019.
Wow, okay.
77% of American adults support legalization in their state of residence. Don't know what states they were talking about there, but I'm assuming they did all 50 in this.
Yeah.
39.2 million American adults placed a traditional sports wager in the last 12 months. 78%, I apologize there, 78% of bettors place all or most of their bets through regulated operators now.
Well, that's good.
Yep. 77% of online sports bets are also placed through regulated operators, compared to just 44% back in 2019.
Sure.
And only 29% of American adults say they are unsure of the legality of online sports books in their state.
Okay.
That has gone down from 45% back in 2018.
Well, look, I mean, back in 2018, a lot of people were telling horror stories if you let sports betting into your state, corruption and integrity of the game and things like that. But I think what we're seeing now is it's a regulated area. It's well regulated, which means, if there's suspicious bets going on, it's caught very quickly and it's dealt with very quickly. So I think that, I think most people are relieved to see, how the business is being regulated and how the business is working. And, it's not affecting the games at all. It's not affecting, the crime rate's not going up or whatever horror stories everyone was talking about. So, I think, no one really knew what to expect in 2018 and 2019. But, now it's become part of the actual sports landscape. I mean, you can't turn on a game without seeing the odds and the over-unders and things like that, and the in-game odds and how they change throughout the game. So, it's become part of the sport.
Well, the regulated industry in the United States is constantly evolving, whether it's from the sportsbook operator side, general public side, legislative side, what have you. Everything is changing, evolving. It's getting tighter. The regulations are getting better.
Yeah.
We're seeing
because the technology is getting
better. We're seeing a lot more common sense in some of the regulations.
So
some things didn't work at the beginning and they're tossing them out now. Like Tennessee, the state of Tennessee dropped their legislative 10% hold. And they're just going straight ahead. And we got some news regarding Tennessee later on in the show. But again, we're seeing changing attitudes, not only about the public, but also the operators. We're seeing the changing in the regulations, the detection methods are getting amazing.
Well, we had a interview with GeoComply. It was just, with the technology is amazing. Like I said, if there's suspicious betting or suspicious activity going on, it's being caught and dealt with very quickly.
Yep.
So
going to PointsBet again. This announcement happened before the deal with Fanatics. PointsBet had announced that the company ended its marketing relationship with the University of Maryland. They were one of the few schools that they had to deal with in terms of marketing where the school was benefiting from any customers being sent to PointsBet.
Yep. Okay.
So that was ended.
Okay.
Also didn't, hurt that Maryland also passed a law prohibiting those types of relationships.
So that had to end anyway.
Exactly. So. Jackpocket in New Jersey received approvals for their online casino. No word on when that's actually going to be launching. There's a few other regulatory hurdles to go through before they get the final approval to go live in the state of New Jersey for an online casino. They are already live with their online lottery.
Yeah. Yep.
Also in Jersey, we have bet makers. Bet-makers announced the launch of Monmouth Bets, which is they're calling the first legal and regulated mobile application for fixed odds betting, horse race betting.
It is very interesting. I think it's going to be great for horse racing. I think it's going to be great for growing the sport, and pretty soon we might have bet makers on for an interview. So we're going to hear all about that Monmouth Bets app.
Well, the Monmouth Bets app is going to be doing both fixed odds and pari-mutuel still.
The fixed odds is
an option.
It's an option. So.
And the tracks that are going to be covered by Monmouth Bets will be Monmouth Park, Tampa Bay Downs, Canterbury Park, Delaware Park, Hawthorne Racecourse over in Illinois, Emerald Downs and Century Mile, and also they're going to be offering coverage of the Monmouth at Meadowlands track meet, all turf. So
wasn't I saying a couple of months, we need a good horse racing betting app here in New Jersey, and then all of a sudden we got a history-making one. So
well, everyone's been liking how the fixed odds have been working here in New Jersey.
Well,
I don't know how many other states have picked it up yet.
Certainly they're going to be under the spotlight because this is the first one in the U.S. that allows the fixed odds betting option, and I'm sure other states are going to be looking at this, see how it works, see how popular it is, see how it functions, and we'll take it from there. But I think it's great for horse racing.
Yes. Last entry for this week, Circa Resort and Casino announced that they will be having their own. They will be the home. Let me put it this way: they will be the home of their own Sports Gambling Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Which is going to honor bookmakers and bettors in the gaming industry. The first inductees include. I believe it includes, I'm looking at my notes right now, Frank Lefty Rosenthal, Roxy Roxborough,
Billy Walters. I think those are the names that were thrown out. Yep.
And according to the release, they've got rules and regulations for the election of these members each and every year.
Okay.
I think it's something like a 75% approval by the judges to get into.
So who are the judges? I don't know who the judges are.
They haven't announced that yet.
Okay, all right.
So I'm assuming Derek Stevens is going to be probably.
I don't know.
I have to take a look and see. I know it's in relation with the BetFlash.
I mean, do they like? I know it's an enclave somewhere on their sports betting floor or their sports book. I'm just curious where that is.
But I don't even know if they're going to have busts or pictures or just names.
Yeah, I'm curious. That'd be interesting.
It'd be kind of fun. Maybe they have.
I know SBC has a sports betting Hall of Fame too.
Yes,
so it's like, are these going to be competing halls or kind of thing?
Well, I think SBC's Hall of Fame is international. Mm-hmm. This is probably more national, or maybe even more local.
I don't know.
So
I'm curious to see how it goes.
Yeah, and Circa's a great place for it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Best sports book out there, I think.
I think so.
That's it for the industry updates. Let's finish up with our legislative roundup. This week's legislative roundup, we've got the death of sports betting in both Texas and Missouri.
Okay.
For this year anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Both ended differently, but both ended.
See, I thought Missouri had a better shot at it. Texas doesn't even have casinos. I mean, they don't have commercial casinos. They have Native American casinos, but they don't have the commercial casinos. So.
I saw one even call themselves a tribal gaming center.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and Texas is having issues with their poker room, so they're in flux and things like that. So who knows?
Well, with regards to both of those states, there's some parallels here. Mm-hmm. Both legislation pieces in Texas and Missouri both made it through the House. Mm-hmm. It's when they got to the Senate where they ran into issues. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick over there, who is against all gambling, or gambling expansion anyway, said they won't consider the legislation at all during the current calendar.
Okay.
Which means probably until January 2027.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
So that's where, it's every other year. So it's 2023 now. We'll see exactly if they don't really approach it again in January of 2025.
Yeah.
Because reports were they're going to reconsider January 2027. I don't know if they're going to wait that long because the teams want it.
Yeah, the teams want it, and there are states around them. They're losing money. People are crossing the border and going to other states to place their bets.
And over in Missouri,
or if they're using unregulated sites, just because your state doesn't have it doesn't mean people aren't sports betting.
They can also travel outside
Yeah,
the state
I know,
too.
I know.
They're surrounded by sports betting.
Oh,
right
sure.
now. Missouri, it got through the House, and then in the Senate, there was an amendment attached to Senate Bill 475, which was the sports betting bill, and it actually was a tax amendment. And when it was attached, since it doesn't deal with video lottery terminals, VGTs, video gaming terminals, the senator that was the sponsor of that bill became against it.
Okay.
So they did a filibuster on the last day.
All right. Well,
and it did not get to the floor.
Okay. Well,
so both made it through the House, didn't make it further than that. Last two entries, we have Tennessee. Tennessee's bill to change the tax structure for their sports betting industry from taxing the gaming revenue to the handle has gone to the governor. By the time this airs, he may or may not have already signed it. If he signs it, great. If he doesn't sign it, it still goes into law.
Yeah,
after 10 days.
That's one of those states where if the governor does nothing, it becomes law.
Yes.
So,
and also same situation in Vermont. Vermont passed their legislation and went to the desk of Governor Phil Scott, who is expected to sign it. By the time this airs again, 10 business days may have passed, which means if he didn't sign it, it would be law. If he signs it, either way, Vermont becomes the 38th state to have legalized sports betting.
Which is shocking to me when we're talking about sports betting in New England. I really thought Maine was going to be the next state to do it, but no, Vermont took it over. And Vermont's an interesting state. There's going to be no casinos, no retail sports books. It's going to be all online.
It'll match what Tennessee's doing.
Yeah.
But with Vermont passing legal sports betting, they are now the last New England state to legalize sports betting. All of New England is legalized sports betting. Yeah. Whether they launch it or not, whenever they do it, that's a whole different story.
Yeah, like I said, I thought Maine was going to launch it like a lot quicker than Vermont. So it looks like Vermont's going to really launch it before Maine.
Well, Maine's got some issues with regards to their advertising regulations.
Yeah.
They're going through the rules right now. They're going to have another public comment session. And they hope to narrow down the comments little by little. I believe.
I wonder if this is going to spur on Maine. They're going to be the last New England state to launch sports betting. I'm very curious to see if Vermont kind of motivates Maine, but probably not. But I'm curious about that.
Well, you got to look at what happened in Maine. Maine's first public comment session ended up giving about 900 comments. For their rules and regulations. The next one, they want to pare it down. They go down until it's a manageable number. I think they were hoping to go from 900 to 600 to 400 to 2, and next year is going to be when they're launching. I don't see them doing it before January, but you never know.
Okay.
But Vermont, we'll see exactly when they launch, but they're going to have 2 to 6 mobile sports betting operators. Maine is going to have,
which by the way is a lot better than New Hampshire, which is only one online sports betting operator, and that's DraftKings.
Well, if you look at Maine had legalized 4 online sports betting operators, and Caesars just a deal that took up 3.
Okay.
So there's only 2 going to be up in Maine, which will be interesting to watch.
I can use my Caesars rewards up in Maine.
Well, that's it for this week's Turnpike Sports Book Report. Press releases, info@turnpikesportsradio.com. If you've been following along on TV, the ticker's been flying by with additional news stories that we didn't have a chance to cover in this episode. And after the show is released, you will see a full print version of the Turnpike Sports Book Report with even more news stories in it. On Turnpike Sports blog, you go to turnpikesports.us and click on the blog button, and you'll see the full print version there.
And that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.